Alexander the Great was born in 356 BCE in Pella, the ancient capital of Macedonia. His father, King Philip II, was a brilliant military leader who transformed Macedonia into a powerful state, while his mother, Olympias, claimed descent from the hero Achilles. From an early age, Alexander showed immense ambition and intelligence, qualities that were nurtured by his famous tutor, the philosopher Aristotle. Under Aristotle's guidance, Alexander learned philosophy, science, and the art of governance. But it was his father's military conquests that captivated his imagination. Philip's victories gave Alexander a front-row seat to the strategies of warfare, and by the time he was a teenager, he had already begun to accompany his father on campaigns. Alexander's first true test came in 338 BCE at the Battle of Chaeronea, where he led a cavalry charge that helped secure a decisive Macedonian victory over a coalition of Greek city-states. This victory marked the beginning of his ascent to greatness. In 336 BCE, when Philip was assassinated, Alexander, then just 20 years old, ascended to the Macedonian throne. His first act as king was to quell rebellions in the northern territories and secure his borders. With his kingdom stabilized, he turned his attention to fulfilling his father Urtem's ambition, the conquest of the Persian Empire. In 334 BCE, Alexander crossed the Hellespont into Asia with an army of 40,000 men, beginning what would become one of the most extraordinary military campaigns in history. His first major battle was the Battle of Granicus, where he defeated the Persian forces, establishing his dominance in Asia Minor. After his victory at Granicus, Alexander moved south, capturing key cities like Sardis and Ephesus, which surrendered without a fight. His strategy was not just about brute force, but also diplomacy, offering leniency to cities that surrendered and harsh punishment to those that resisted. In 333 BCE, Alexander faced the Persian king Darius III at the Battle of Issus. Despite being heavily outnumbered, Alexander's superior tactics and leadership led to a resounding victory. Darius fled, leaving behind his family, who were captured by Alexander. Rather than treating them harshly, Alexander showed them respect, enhancing his reputation as a benevolent conqueror. With Asia Minor under his control, Alexander turned his attention to Egypt, where he was welcomed as a liberator from Persian rule. In 332 BCE, he founded the city of Alexandria, which would become one of the most important cultural and intellectual centers of the ancient world. After securing Egypt, Alexander marched north to face Darius again at the Battle of Gaugamela in 331 BCE. This battle, one of the most significant in his career, saw Alexander decisively defeat the much larger Persian army, effectively ending Darius's rule and marking the fall of the Persian Empire. With the Persian Empire under his control, Alexander continued his eastward march, pushing into Central Asia. He faced fierce resistance, particularly in the region of Bactria, where local leaders like Spetamenes launched guerrilla attacks against his forces. However, Alexander's relentless pursuit and strategic brilliance eventually subdued these rebellions. In 327 BCE, he married Roxana, the daughter of a Bactrian nobleman, in a move designed to solidify his control over the region. His ambitions, however, extended far beyond Central Asia. In 326 BCE, he crossed into India, where he faced one of his most challenging opponents, King Porus, at the Battle of the Hydaspes River. Despite the Indian army Urtem's use of war elephants, Alexander's tactical genius won the day. Impressed by Porus's bravery, Alexander allowed him to retain his kingdom as a subordinate ruler, further showcasing his willingness to integrate local leaders into his empire. Despite his continued success, Alexander's army grew weary after years of campaigning. When he announced plans to march further into India, his soldiers, exhausted and longing for home, mutinied. Reluctantly, Alexander agreed to turn back. In 324 BCE, he returned to Babylon, where he began planning new conquests, including an invasion of Arabia. However, in 323 BCE, at the age of 32, Alexander fell ill and died, possibly from malaria, typhoid, or poisoning. His death marked the end of an era, but his legacy endured. His empire, though it fragmented after his death, laid the foundation for the spread of Greek culture throughout the known world. This period, known as the Hellenistic Age, saw Greek art, philosophy, and science influence vast regions from the Mediterranean to India. Alexander's military strategies are still studied in military academies today, and his legend as one of history's greatest conquerors continues to captivate people around the world. His vision of a unified world, blending East and West, left an indelible mark on history, shaping the cultural and political landscape of the ancient world for centuries to come.